Donald Trump was apparently rushed to the hospital for the third time this year. And I can provide some pretty interesting context to this about why this actually is so bizarre. Okay, a lot of people are going to try to tell you, oh, it's just regular checkups at the doctor. No, presidents don't go to Walter Reed for regular checkups at the doctor. Do you guys know why they don't go to Walter Reed for regular checkups with the doctor and annual physicals? Anybody know before I give the game up on why they don't do that? It's not something crazy. It's not complicated. It's super basic. Anybody know why they don't go to the hospitals for these things? Yeah, somebody just said it. There's literally a fucking doctor in the White House, okay? And I can tell you, I can confirm this. I was given a private tour. Not me, just me. My entire Special Forces ODA was given a private tour of the White House. We got to see all the stuff, the Situation Room, all the coolest shit that you don't get to see because, well, one of our former teammates just happened to work at the White House. And so we were given a private tour. We got to see everything. And guess what we got to go see? The fucking doctor's office in the White House. So they took us in, full doctor's office, okay? Dental, they got everything in there. The only thing they don't have is much higher levels of care. Okay, so if you had maybe had a stroke or a heart attack or something serious, you're going to go to Walter Reed for that. So that's why him being rushed to Walter Reed is not fucking normal, right? If this was, they're trying to say already this is a regular checkup, but no, that's not how it works at the White House. Okay, but here's the actual reporting. Bunch of channels covered this already. So we'll get the actual reporting here. We'll use Kyle's video for this one, and then we'll talk more about it
as well. Okay, let's go ahead and dive right in, Ski. So this is a big deal, and nobody's talking about it, but Trump has now returned to the hospital for a third time in 13 months as ex-White House doctors sound the alarm. Okay, so here's what they say. Donald Trump is heading to the hospital for the third time in 13 months, a frequency that has medical experts questioning the 79-year-old's physical condition and mental fitness for office. The president is scheduled to visit Walter Reed Medical Center on Tuesday for a medical and dental checkup. He previously saw doctors in April 2025.
Keep in mind, he's not going to Walter Reed for a regular medical and dental checkup. That's done at the White House.
For his annual physical exam before returning in October for a, quote, scheduled follow-up. Now, let me pause to point out, remember when he got an MRI and they called it a routine MRI, which, by the way, is not a thing. There's no such thing.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a routine MRI. You guys know that.
Is a routine MRI. Then they asked Trump, what part of your body did they MRI? And his reaction was, I don't know, but definitely not the brain, which immediately leads me to believe, of course, it's the brain.
Yeah.
Which then begs the question, what's going on up there? Okay, because we know he's physically deteriorating, mentally deteriorating. We know his dad had Alzheimer's and died with it, okay, which makes him much more likely to get Alzheimer's because it runs in his family. And here we are acting like everything's okay as a literal madman who's losing his mind is dragging us into World War III and crashing the global economy and protecting pedophiles and launching a new war seemingly every other week. This is astonishing, the place we're at right now.
Yeah.
And so these questions become more and more important when you see the gravity of the decisions that the Trump regime is making. The latest visit comes as Trump has appeared at public events with a growing number of bruises and red marks on his skin, including on his neck and hands. The public is taking notice too. Just 40% of Americans believe Trump has the mental sharpness to serve as president.
All right, so this is where we're going to pause for a second. That's going to be the first poll of the night. 40% of Americans, we are going to check that. Where's my... What is going on tonight? Where's my fucking... I got no options for polls here. Come on. There we go. All right. First poll. Is Trump mentally well enough to be president? What do you guys think? They said 40% of Americans said yes. We'll see what we think, huh? Okay. Now, good reporting from Kyle. What makes this more interesting is this just broke an hour ago. This just broke an hour ago. So Donald Trump was going to have a cabinet meeting at Camp David, Maryland tomorrow, and they have now canceled that meeting, and they're going to have it on the White House instead. Now, interesting, people have looked into this, and apparently there is not going to be bad weather conditions tomorrow at Camp David. So again, as it says here, Maryland is cloudy with 50% of light rain. This is the actual forecast. So no, the weather is not bad at Camp David right now, nor will it be when they travel. And so a lot of people are saying, why the fuck is Trump administration canceling this trip at the same time he's missing from a hospital trip? And then now they're going to have it at the White House. Why are you lying about this? Why are you lying about why you're canceling this? Again, we don't know, but this just broke and it's very, very bizarre. Now, what they told us was that his scheduled exam, of course, that everything checked out perfectly. Thank you to the great doctors and staff heading back to the White House. Okay, so again, he's in perfect health. However, we also know this now. Donald Trump has now fallen asleep on camera more times than Joe Biden. So it says Donald Trump has now fallen asleep on camera more times than Joe Biden, which is the kind of data point that makes you wonder what exactly was in all those Diet Cokes. Says the chart is not close. Trump logged 7 alleged on-camera sleeping incidents in 2026 alone, bringing his career total to a commanding lead over the man he spent 4 years calling Sleepy Joe. Now, it says here, Biden, for the record, peaked at 2 times in 2021 and basically retired from the discipline entirely. By comparison, the 46th president now looks like he was snorting Adderall. Okay, now, for those of MAGA who want to say this isn't true, no, I'm sorry, this is true. And this has happened, 7 times now, where he has just been straight fucking racked. Like, you want to tell me this dude is just, what is he, just blinking right now? No, he's fully unconscious in his chair. And again, like, he's constantly doing this, right? Like, just fucking, bro is just racked, right? Like, this is just constantly happening to him now. All right, here's him again.
Earliest years of their children's lives.
Turn the sound off on that. There he is, just asleep at another press conference. He can't even stand. You guys notice he can't even stand up anymore? Do you see how they do these new ones? He literally can't even stand. They have to sit him in this chair while everybody else stands around him. Just this very bizarre emperor has no clothes situation we have going on, where, again, like, he can't get out of his chair. Like, he can't stand long enough to even do any of these press conferences. That's why everybody around him is there, and he's just racked in his chair. Now, there's another thing that people are noticing is that he can't walk straight, which is a very, very common side effect of someone who's had a stroke. That down too. As you can see, watch him as he walks. He does a diagonal back and forth sway, and this is everywhere he goes. He's doing this, right? He can't seem to walk straight. A lot of this is because of his balance, or if he's had a stroke. But as you can see, I mean, he's just fucking zigzagging, right? Until he can, nope. As soon as he raises his hand, what happens? He veers way off to the left, veers back. Again, just, super, super common things that someone who has a stroke has. Now, also just the bizarre bruising, right? This is another one.
Absolutely crazy. And they're vicious, violent.
They're trying to hide it. You can see all of the makeup that they just plaster on his hands and his neck now.
I mean, nobody wants to have Iran, or anybody, but nobody wants to have Iran with a nuclear, because these people are crazy. They're absolutely crazy, and they're vicious, violent. I mean,
you can see his whole hand is just caked and covered in makeup. Now, what is that from? That's from IVs, bruises. Really common spot to get your IVs, especially for older people, because your veins aren't great in the rest of your body, right? So in your ditches and your normal places, you're going to get IVs. Elderly people, their veins, very, very difficult to find. So they're typically going to do it in your hands, okay, for your IVs. So he's very clearly getting regular IVs of something. What could that be? A lot of people think it's dementia medication. That would actually check out. That's from what dementia doctors talk about. That's very, very common. I forget what the medication is called, but there's medication that actually does leave bruising that most of dementia patients are taking. Yeah, great point. Yep, he is also slurring his words. He's basically got every sign and symptom. And here's another one. This is one of the main ones you can tell. Okay, this is coronary heart disease. You can see. Look at these cankles, bro. Like these things are just blown out, right? His ankles are so swollen. He can barely even get his feet in his shoes. Very, very, very common of somebody who's got coronary heart disease. And what's a very common thing that happens when you have coronary heart disease? A stroke, right? Something my dad just had happen recently this year from having coronary heart disease and then had a stroke because of it. Okay. Very, very common stuff. This is super, super normal. Okay. Now, there's, again, bunch of people talking about this. Keith Edwards just dropped a video literally about this. And this was what, an hour ago that he just broke this. And the title of the video is, of course, Trump had a stroke. So we're going to watch a little bit of this and then we'll talk about it.
The real problems Donald Trump is experiencing with his health. And this happens the same day that Donald Trump has made, I believe, his 4th annual visit to the hospital this year. This time we're actually told about it. This time we're actually told about it. Previously, it was a dentist appointment that became an emergency visit that happened in Florida. But this time, at least it was on the schedule. Now, Donald Trump has posted about this visit after he left. And of course, we have that for you. And yesterday was a very shocking moment where the president of the United States literally fell asleep. Now, CNN's doctor has some insight as to what this could be, but look at this.
Here he goes again.
The mourners of that first Decoration Day knew what we know on this Memorial.
He's just fucking racked, bro.
He's literally asleep. Now, we know this is bothering the White House because they came out with these tweets basically saying that these images and the videos are selectively edited because they're saying, oh, look at these reporters who fell asleep during CNN. Only, of course,
you can tell these are obvious blinks, right? Which is a little bit different than him for 50 seconds straight, just racked out in a chair.
That's not what happened. And we have two eyes. We have seen multiple times that Donald Trump will nod off in the Oval Office or yesterday. But this is the surest sign that they're aware that this is a problem for them and they're trying to do what they can to try to change the narrative around it. And that's why it's pretty bad that there's a CNN doctor who's exposing what really is going on.
I do want to see this during this examination, a credible explanation for his visible health concerns, his bruising, which initially was described as due to vigorous handshaking, which is not credible.
The White House said this bruising is from shaking hands. You guys ever had your entire hands bruised after shaking somebody's hand? I haven't, but okay.
Severe edema in his ankles, which was described as, chronic venous insufficiency, when just 3 months before, 1 year ago, his examination disclosed that he had no edema, which would then make it acute venous insufficiency, which is an entirely different thing. And finally, the president has severe daytime somnolence. He falls asleep very often. He's fallen asleep in the Oval Office on multiple occasions with people talking to him in the cabinet room, and was concerned yesterday that he might have fallen asleep at Arlington National Cemetery during Memorial Day observances.